This week on This and That Garage, oh dude, yep, he's back. We still got a bunch of work to do to the motor. I would like to get it put back together, get him back on the road this week, but I can't do none of it talking to y'all, so let us get busy. If you will recall, old dude, we blew him up. Well, I blew him up. Yep, it's completely my fault. All due to, where is it at? The carb air cleaner stud. Remember, our threads were stripped out of the carb. This come out. There was a nut on here. The nut fell off. Went through the motor. Busted the number 6 cylinder wall. Yep. So last time we worked on him, tore the motor apart. Put us a sleeve in there. First sleeve we've ever done on the channel, or first sleeve I've ever done, period. What we got to do, get my boring bar mounted up here, bore this out to the correct size. And we're honing all the cylinders, remember? Went ahead and bought a set of rings and went ahead and bought a set of rod bearings. We're going to change them out too. Then put the little feather together, put it back in, dude. Stomp on the pedal, do a burnout, and just be happy once again. Before we do all that, though, I wanted to tell y'all, remember, where's the valve cover? Let me find it. Remember this valve cover right here? How it got all bent and smashed? See all them markings on it? Rocker arm was hitting it. And we discovered that the rocker arm had cocked to one side. I couldn't figure out why. Well, I know now. When that piece of metal, the nut, went through the intake port, well, it got caught in between the valve and the valve seat. That held the valve open a little bit, which loosened up the rocker arm. Well, she slipped to one side just a little bit. Yep, that's exactly how that happened. Glad it did, because I wouldn't have known if it wouldn't have been beating and banging on the valve cover. No telling how long I'd have drove it. We run it using water as the lubricant. Yes. If you will recall, when I drained the water out of it, or the well, it was water. When I drained the oil, it was a couple of gallons of water first. Yeah, pretty bad. That's why I'm changed rod bearings. A little wore, but nothing bad. Well, we'll just look at them right here. How about that? Yeah, there's nothing bad, but I figured let's go ahead and change it, because this one here, number 8, I think it was number 8. I don't remember. One of them showing copper. I think it's number 8. So I figured, let's just put a new set of bearings in it. Also, let me show you this too. This run across my brain the other night. This blower has only made about 4 psi on this motor, and that's always bothered me, because that same blower, exact same way it is right now, made 6 to 7 on the Trans Am. That's where it was originally. Well, it finally hit me when I was tearing this motor apart. Let me show you. Let me get these pulleys up here on the table somewhere. This is the blower pulley, that goes on that motor. This is the harmonic dampener / pulley that goes on the LT1. Let me get my tape measure out and I'll show you what I'm talking about. The blower pulley is 6 inches. See right there? The LT1 pulley, 7 1/2 inches. That's why it was making so much more boost on the Trans Am. It's got a bigger bottom pulley. They make a 7-inch, I believe, or they used to. They don't make any stuff for these little wine blowers anymore. If I can find the 7-inch, I may buy it. Depending on how much it is. I'll have to get on eBay or somewhere to find it, probably. I have thought about making one, and I could, but that would take a little time, and we won't do it on this video. But if I can find 7-inch pulley, we'll put it on there and hopefully be making around 6-ish pounds of boost. It'll be a couple more pounds of boost, a little more power. Anyway, let me set y'all up on the camera, and let's get to boring this cylinder out. I got to wipe the bottom of the boring bar off, just to make sure we ain't got no dirt that gets us out of square, out of flatness, whatever you want to call it. Gotta wipe all this stuff off. All that's sitting on my toe. That gum that hurt. All right, I think that's clean enough. Let me pick this light little feller up and get him up there on the motor. Oh yeah, oh yeah, this is really heavy. Oh, goodness gracious alive. Whew. Now, if he'll stay there, I gotta get my apparatus over here that goes down in here. Actually, I need to slide him back. Now, get this little feller up in here. Something like that. Slide him over it. Well, he ain't wanting to hook in. Now, there we go. I gotta get that cutter out and then, well, let me tighten this up first and take a break because this heavy thing has just wore me out. I gotta pull the cutter out. Then we gotta run it down and run the feet out and get centered. Let me wipe these feet off first, make sure we ain't got nothing on them. I've already cleaned the cylinder out. Let me run this feller about, we'll go about middle ways. You turn this out one way or the other. Well, it won't go. There it goes. Run this feller out till it stops. And then you have to tighten this back up over here. It locks her down. I sort of shake it and shimmy it. Make sure, you know, it's going in place. Then we take this feller here and lock her down, boys. Lock her down. Now you gotta make sure your little foot grabber thing down here is anchored good and not about to slip off. It looks good, so let me crank this on down a little more and I think we'll be ready to start boring. Well, I think I got her set up. Then got my cutter set where it goes. We're at like 4 inches and 2 thousandths. This is just our first pass to establish where we're at. Got my dial bore gauge set to 4 inches, 0.0305. We're going 30.5 thousandths final bore. That's with a honing. So we'll stop a couple thousandths before there with our bore. We'll hone it out the rest of the way. And of course, we're going to hone all the cylinders. But anyway, let's set y'all up on the stand. We'll get to cutting, man. I'll have to reset my stop when we get down to the bottom on the first cut. But right now, fire in the hole. Put her in automatic feed over here. Now remember, this inside bore on this slate was 4 inches. This is like a stock bore. So we're only going 30 thousandths, 15 thousandths on one side. So you don't take 5, maybe 10 thousandths a cut after we make this first pass. Actually, I don't think we're hitting nothing, so let me stop and back her up, and I'll run that cutter out about 5 more thousandths. Well, I think I got her now. I recalibrated my, what's that thing called? The mic for this. This should be about a 5 thousandths cut right here. Fire in the hole for the 984th time. Are we going to cut anything? Oh yeah, we're cutting a little bit. We have went through the entire, what's that called, sleeve. Now we're working on the original bore. Of course, it's not going to cut because it's 30 thousandths bigger. But I want to gauge about where I need to set my stop. I think we'll stop her right there. Let's see what we got. Oh yeah, that's more than enough there. So let me get this stop set. We'll take a few more cuts. You got to loosen this feller here up top, and then I got to run this up, turn the switch on, and then drive this down until it barely turns it off. That right there. Tighten it up, let her roll. All right, let me pull the cutter out. We're going to take another 10 thousandths cut here, and then might check it with the dial bore gauge. It's about 11 thousandths right here. Run her on down, about right there. Hit the switch. Hit the automatic feed. Sit back and wait. I just took another pass of 10 thousandths. Checking to see what we got. We got approximately... Well, that ain't right. No, sir, that can't be right. Well, I've been scratching my head for a few minutes now. I've tried to measure with the dial bore gauge after every pass, and my dial bore gauge keeps locking up on me. It won't go through the full swing. And yeah, that ain't right, because that dial bore gauge should have enough movement in the thing that measures to swing through. This sleeve is listed as a 4-inch ID, 94 thousandths wall. Well, that's a lie. It's way under 4 inches. It's probably 25 to 30, maybe even 40 thousandths under. That way, you can bore it out to a 4-inch bore. I didn't know that. I didn't measure the ID of the sleeve before I started all this, and that's what it is. It's probably 30 or 40 thousandths under, and we're almost to a 4-inch bore now, like 7 thousandths to being to just the 4-inch bore. So I got 3 or 4 more passes to go. When I get closer, I'll be back. Well, I've made approximately 3 or maybe 4 passes. I don't remember. Let's see what we got, because I think we're real close. We has approximately 4 thousandths to go. I want to leave 2 for honing, so let me take a 2 thousandths cut. Run her on down, about right there. Fire in the hole, put her in automatic. Sit back and wait. I'm making sure we go all the way to the bottom. So there's one little nub there. I don't know if y'all can hear it hitting. One little nub that it needs to get. And then we need to check it. I'm just making sure it don't crash, because it could hit this webbing on this main right here. I do believe that's it. Let me run her up and check and see what we got. Let me clean it off, get all the little shavings and stuff out of the way. Let's see what we got. We has approximately, yeah, it's about 2 1/4. I think we'll leave it, we'll hone the rest of it out. Here's what we got to do next. As you can see, we got inch and a quarter of sleeve still sticking up. Well, we can't have that. So what I got to do, I don't know how thick this is, but it's too thick for this to cut all at once. Well, I might try to do it manually, but the other day when we was boring it out for the sleeve, I tried to do a 30 thousandths cut, and well, she locked up. 15, about all it wants to do at one time. So I'm probably just going to take a bunch of little cuts, and when we get done, it needs to be, I don't know, 5 or 10 thousandths proud of the deck surface. Then we get to basically file it down flat. Trying to get in here and get a measurement, see what we got left to cut. It's not going to be real accurate because I can't get in there, but that's showing 85. That sounds about right. Because at a 4-inch bore, it should have been a 94 thousandths wall. Yeah, that's about right. So I got several more passes to make to get this knocked down. I'll be back in a little while. You might be wondering, well, how are you going to know when to stop? Because your cutter's on the inside and you're not cutting it all at once. Great question. Glad you asked. Got my dial bore indicator set up here. I've got to run up above the top of the sleeve right now, you know, according to the tip of the cutter. I got to run about 40 thousandths up. So as we start the machine, which way are we going? That way, yeah. You get to 0 right there, then that's the top, the cutter on top of our sleeve. Well, then I'm going to count the revolutions. We're going to go 700 thousandths because that's 800 thousandths tall, and stop. And then I'm hoping once I get that cut down, we got 100 thousandths stick it up. I'm hoping I can cut it all at once with this cutter. We'll just have to wait and see. But this is how I'm going to do it for now. Let's get to cutting and see how it does. All right, let's fire in the hole. Let's put her in automatic. And here we go. She's humming on pretty good. That's 1, 2, 6, almost 7. Liked about 15 thousandths. Well, my camera cut off on me. Told me my SD card was full, so I had to delete some files. But I've done made another pass or two. Let's fire it up and y'all watch how quickly she spins around. There's 100, 200, 6, 7. Close enough. I think this will be the last pass, but I'm not sure. Yeah, because I just, look at there. She done broke free on one side. So yeah, this should be the last pass. Let me run her on down. Get on my 0 mark. About right there. Back up a little bit. Hit the switch. Put her in gear. 600. Here we come. Kaplow. Shut her down. We're still hanging on. No, we ain't. I just ripped it off, fellers. And there you have it. Now, let me go back up. I got to take it out of gear. I got to go back up. Get this out of the way. And you can see we got a little bit left. Well, we got 100 thousandths roughly to go. I'm going to run this cutter out and try to do it in one pass. I'm hoping it don't bog the machine down. You know, I'm going to be feeding it by hand. Hopefully I don't go too far. Let's give it a try. I got the cutter run out just a little bit more to make sure, you know, we catch it all. Here's what I'm going to do. Like I said, I've got to feed it manually. I'm going to come down, take a little bit, cut it off, measure it with my what do you call them? Calipers. See what we got, and then I'm going to adjust my, what's this called up here? Dial indicator. Adjust it, and we'll get within 10 thousandths or so, hopefully, and we don't go too far. Here we go, fellers. Let me run her on down till I get that top pretty much square. It's hard to do because this handle feeds real fast. It's really hard to do. All right, let me cut it off and leave this where it's at. Let's measure this and see what we got. Clean all the debris out of the way. We have approximately exactly 110 thousandths to go right there. So what I'm going to do is put this dial indicator on 0. About right there. I'm going to stop way over here about 70. Well, we'll just see. Because I got to bump it. I don't know if y'all saw that or not. I have to hit this handle and bump it down a little bit because it feeds too quickly. Anyway, let's give her a try, see what happens. Fingers crossed that I don't screw this up. Let's go on down. There's 10, 20, 30. Uh-oh, we locked her up. I went a little bit too far, so I got to back her up. Start over. Well, why is it locking up right there all of a sudden? That's very odd, huh? Even just barely pecking it feeds a little too much. Let's let her clear up there. I'm going, that's 1 thousandth. That's another 1,000th. I'm just going to have to feed it slow, fellas. We're at 45 thousandths. 80, that means we got about 30 thousandths to go. I'm going to stop at 90 and measure it, see what we got. All right, that's 90 right there. Let me get a measurement. What do we have? According to that, we got 30 thousandths. That's where I stopped. Yep. All right, let me keep on going. Another 20, I think we'll quit. Fire and hold. Got 10 more to go. There it is, fellas. I hope we didn't go too far. That sort of feels like we may have. Well, there's a good chance that we went just a wee bit too far. I think our caliper lied to us, or that cutter, well, I know it ain't, because a cutter, I just now realized that, or it come to my brain. A cutter is not ground straight. It's going to be ground at an angle. So I think we dug just barely on the outside, a little too much. Here's what we're going to do. I told you we was going to basically file this down. It's called lapping it or surfacing the block, decking the block. Except we're not going to use a machine. Well, we are. The machine is my two hands. And here's how we're going to do it. I got a straight edge here. We're going to wrap sandpaper around that straight edge. This is supposed to be, precision straight edge. We're going to wrap sandpaper around it and go back and forth until we get this area, well, the whole deck surface, get it flat. Then we're going to call it good. I'm going to go take a break first, and I'll come back and we'll do this. Well, here's what I got. This straight edge here, I'm going to wrap this sanding paper around it approximately like that. I don't know how well this is going to work. I wish I had a shorter straight edge. Let's just move it around, see what it does. It's going to be hard to do because this is going to catch the edge of the cylinder. So about the only thing I know to do is just move it around a little bit and see what happens. All right, I can tell we are hitting it a little bit. Not a lot. I'll tell you what we can do. Let's put us run a magic marker around there, make a mark, and that'll tell us for sure. I'm still sort of afraid that we have cut that sleeve down too far. But you know what we're going to do? I'll run it. I'm not pulling it out. Absolutely won't. All right, let that dry, and then we'll sand a little bit around it. All right, let's give her a try. Let's go this way. That might do a little bit better. Yeah, we have went too deep with it, sure did. Let me work on this a little bit, because it may only need 1,000th or so. Yes, sir, we went too deep, because we still got red. Just barely. I can see marks here where it's hitting barely, and then over here. It's probably going to be all right, but let me work on this a little bit longer and see what I can get done. Trying to get these dowel pins out so I can do the whole block. Well, I got the other one out. Ew. There we go. Well, I've been sanding maybe 10 minutes or so. I've just marked it up again with some magic marker. And when you're doing this, let me show you over here. I'm trying to use the whole piece of sandpaper. You'll make sure that you hold the edges up tight, because if you let them droop, well, it's going to give you a false reading, basically. So you got to hold them up tight. Anyway, let's see if I can keep this thing from sliding back and forth. See what we got going on here. You can see the red marks disappearing. Still got some faint ones around here. Let me switch to another piece of paper. I'll be back in a few minutes. Well, I've been sanding for what feels like an eternity, but we are getting closer. I don't know if it'll show up real good on the camera, but there's just a faint bit of red left. It's like it's dipped. Kind of weird, because it's hitting here and then over here. I don't know how that happened. I guess the way the cutter was shaped, but I have graduated to a 100 grit. I was doing 220. I was like, no, it's taking too long. Let me keep on working on it till I get that knocked down. I'm done. I ain't sanding no more. I refuse to, man. Golly, Pete. I got the head gasket up here just to look at where the fire ring is going to hit. And it probably won't show up. But I think we got plenty of fire ring that's going to hit on flat. But you can see the red still there. Fellas, I'm not lying. I've been sanding for 2 hours. I'm done. I ain't sanding no more. We haven't took it down as far as a machine shop would, because most of the time they take these stamp numbers out. Well, they're still there. You can see them there. But she is a lot flatter than it was. It was really wavy down here when it started. All of that's gone. We still got just a wee bit of red, and I'm not sanding anymore. I refuse to. I'm going in the house is what I'm going to do. Tomorrow, we'll drag our hone tub out. We'll go to honing all the cylinders, and we'll get to clean it up, and I'm probably going to be waiting on parts. Rings are supposed to be here tomorrow. Bearings are supposed to be here tomorrow, but it may be late when I get it. I don't know. Depending on if we get them or not, we might start putting together. But anyways, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Tells the next day. Actually, it's about a week and a half later. I just got back from Arkansas, bringing old Duty Brown Dooley home a couple days ago. I've spent the day before yesterday like 14 hours on the computer editing that video. Several hours yesterday. But now we're back on Dude. I actually had to watch the video footage I've already done to remind myself of where I was at, because I was fixing to put the boring bar back on here and bore the sleeve out. Well, we've already done that. And remember I told you I was done sanding? Well, that was a lie. I sanded another probably hour to 2 hours last night. Got it down pretty good. It's good enough. I ain't sanding no more. I'm tired of sanding. Anyway, what we're going to do now, if you will recall, cylinder 8 had some wooder in it too. I don't see any cracks with my naked eye, but, you know, they can fool you. So what we're going to do is, what do you call this? Magnaflux. I made this fella right here. All it is, that's a piece of round stock. I don't remember what size. And you got two pieces of rectangle welded together. Whole bunch of copper wire, the coated type, like it right there, wrapped around it. And then you got two leads going over to a battery. A button, hit the button, it magnetizes. And that's your Magnaflux. I got the little yellow metal filings. You sprinkle it over, put your thing over here, magnetize it, and it'll show you a crack if there's one there. So, let me set y'all up on the camera stand, and fingers crossed that we don't have any more cracks. I don't really know where to check. I'm just going to put some at the top right here first. Yes, that is just a regular old salt shaker. Then what you do is you get this fella here, hit your button. I don't see no cracks. If there's a crack, it'll line up in the crack. The metal filings will. I don't see nothing. You just got to move it around everywhere. Now, I think what I'll do is let's rotate it. And I'll check it cylinder somehow. I'm not real sure how you do this. Tell you what, let me do a little research on the YouTubes. Maybe it'll show somebody doing a cylinder Magnafluxing. I'll be right back. I want to make sure I do it right is what I'm getting at. Well, nobody was Magnafluxing a cylinder, but I will tell you this too. My magnet wasn't working. No, sir. One of my wires got loose in here. It's working now. See it stick to it? Oh, yeah. But I don't see any cracks down in the cylinder. I don't really know how you do the cylinder. Let's see if we can get her down in there. I don't know. I don't see any cracks. Let me flip it over and do this side here. Let's sprinkle a little bit of dust in there. There ain't no crack showing up in the cylinder. Like I said, I don't really know how you do that. Let's do it every which way when you think. I don't see nothing. I think we're good. We'll check the head. I'll tell you what, let's do it right now. Do a little sprinkly sprinkle. Let's just check the whole thing. What do we have? Don't see none. I think we're good. Tell you what we will do though. This is cylinder 6. This is the one that had the, well, this is not a piece of metal too, but this is the one that got beat up. We will pour water in here with a spark plug in it. Make sure we didn't bend the valve some kind of way. Because if water leaks out, then we're going to have to do something. If water don't leak out, well, then we're good. But I don't think we got any cracks. How did water end up in cylinder 8? I don't know, unless it's possible that when this crashed, It might have lifted the head just a little bit and let water go over here. I don't know, fellas. One of life's mysteries. I've told y'all that's part of MLS. Sometimes some things happen that you never have an explanation for. Anyway, let's get our honing tank out and go to honing that block. Got her in the tub. I've been trying to figure out my hone stones. I bought this set here right before I went to Arkansas, 280 grit. I did a little bit of studying on honing, hone stones, what grit you need for the rings you're using. I normally use plasma moly rings on the top ring. And apparently, I don't remember because, my memory is about like a tree stump. But apparently, I decided that 280 grit's what I needed for the final hone. Like I said, I just bought these right before I left. Well, I just opened them. And I don't know if you can see it or not. See that right there? Yep, that's part of the stone. It's not attached to where it's supposed to be. They sent it in a plastic bag. Yep, something that fragile. So that gets sent back. Luckily, though, I opened up my hone box. And here's another set right here I ordered several months ago. Just forgot about it. They seem to not be broke. And I remember ordering these here. These are 180 grit. That's what we're going to do. Take out most of the meat. And then we'll do our final honing with this. I ain't going to say I'm not. I'm trying not to use the dingleberry hone for the final hone. I would like to be able to use this here just to see if it matters, because if you will recall, all of our hash marks, honing marks are gone, pretty much. Still have not pulled the plug out of the old Forte to see if we're still cross-hatching it. If I think about it in a little while, I'll do that. If not, maybe I'll do it tomorrow. Anyway, let me get the hone drill and all that set up. Let's go to honing. All right, I got these 180 grit stones in here. We got to get them down in here, get them set approximately there, and then you turn this little feller here for your fine adjustment. I forget which way you turn it, though. Is it this way? I don't think so. Maybe it's this way. Like that. That probably ain't tight enough, but we'll start off right there. Let me turn my pump on for my diesel fluids. Now, let me say this before we get started. You know how usually I have trouble, the bottom doesn't want to hone out, and the middle will be too big, barrel shaped. Well, here's why. When you come up, the stone ain't rubbing the bottom. When you go down, the stone ain't rubbing the top. But it's always rubbing the middle. That's why it gets bigger in the middle. And why it's hard to get the bottom to hone out, I don't know. But if you will recall, I started staying down on the bottom most of the time and just coming up a little bit. That seemed to work. So let's get to cutting. Maybe we can figure this out. I don't think I'm cutting much there. Let's tighten her up right there. See what that does. It still ain't real tight. All right, let me pull it out and give me a dial bore indicator, and we'll measure and see where we're at. Dial indicator is set on 4 inches, 30 and 1/2 thousandths. What we got at the top, we got about 2 to go. Middle, hair under 2, and the bottom about the same. So we ain't tapering yet. All right, I'll be back in a little bit when I get it closer. Well, I've been honing for not very long. These stones are really taking the material off. We got the exact opposite problem now. It's not taking it off the top. That was 1.5 at the top. This is just a hair under a half, and the bottom it's about the same, maybe a little less. So I got to hang out on the top a little bit now. These stones are, they're really taking the material off pretty quick though, because I haven't honed maybe 30 seconds twice, and where it's already took 1/1000 and a half off. All right, how far over are we now on the bottom and middle? At the top, we are approximately, all right, that brought us on down. We're about 1/1000th now. Middle is pretty much dead on. Bottom, it likes 1/4. Let me hang out on the top a little more like I did just then. What do we have now? Likes about 1/4 Ooh, we went 1/2 over on the middle. Bottom, dead on. I'll tell you what we'll do, 1/4. We ain't gonna worry about it, fellas. Nope. I need to hit it with the 280 grit and see about leaving some crosshatch. Yep, we'll leave it right there. All right, I got the 280 grit stones in here. Now remember, when you're going for crosshatch, slow rotation, fast up and down. That may be a little tight. Back her off a little bit. We'll start right there, see what it does. What do we have right there? Well, we got crosshatch for sure, but it's a weird looking crosshatch. You only see like a big round instead of the whole crosshatch. That's weird. I'm sure it's because of the way the light's hitting it. But yeah, that's doing pretty good. I still see marks that are flat, so that means we haven't gotten our rough home marks out. So let me work on it a little more. When I think we're good enough, I'll be back and let you see. Well, I can't get my camera down in there to show you, but you'll have to trust me that it looks pretty doggone good. When we pull it out, maybe I can get the camera in there and show you a little bit better, but let me hit the rest of these, do some little cross hatching on them, and then we got to start cleaning stuff up. All right, let's start with, what is this, number 8? See what we can do with it. Let's pull it out and have a better look. What we got? We got some pretty cross hatch. A little bit of wear still there. There's some right in here at the top. And where else? A little bit of scuffing up and down right here. Not real bad. Tell you what. Let me hit it just a little bit more. I'm not trying to take it all out. I just want to give it some more cross hatch. Yeah, let me hit it just a wee bit more and I think we'll be done with it. You got most of the scuff marks. There's a little bit down below. There's a little bit up at the top it didn't touch, but I'm good with it. I got 6 more to go. I'll be back in a little while. Well, she's back on the motor stand, and if I must say so, this is some of my better crosshatch honing. I believe I finally figured it out. Oh yeah, got the right stones, the right speed, and everything. Now I didn't get all the imperfections out, but I'm hoping that crosshatch will show up on camera. But yeah, she looks pretty doggone good if you ask me. Now what I gotta do is spend several hours cleaning this block up. Gotta clean the pistons, rods, valve covers, heads. Earl pin is disgusting. Gotta clean everything. Really gotta clean this block. Remember, we already got cam bearings in it. That makes it a little more aggravating to get all the grit out. Hopefully none has got up in behind the cam bearings. If so, then we're going to destroy bearings when we fire it back up. I'm going to do my dangest. I'm going to take these plugs out and wash all the old galleys and stuff out really good. Anyway, what I'm trying to tell you is I got a lot of cleaning to do. I will see y'all tomorrow. 'Tis the next day again. And well, I'm still cleaning today. Cleaned 2 hours last night. Got fed up with it. I've cleaned for a couple of hours today. You would think with the amount of motors that I have built over the last few years that I would remember how much cleaning is involved before you can put a motor together. No, sir. I don't remember what I did yesterday. Anyway, I think I got everything cleaned up. Now what I'm doing is, we're putting new bearings on the rods. So I'm checking bearing clearances there. This is the last one. They've all been dead on 2/1000, except for one. It was like 1 3/4. I would like to have a little more than 2, but it'll be all right. Tang to tang. Get the nuts on. They get torque alert to 45 feet-pounds. What do we have? These veneers got pretty much 2, just a hair under 2. Good enough. Now that I got all these checked and they're good, get to do the ring gap. Remember we rehomed all the cylinders, putting the rings in it. So let me get the block over here, get that all going. I'll be back in a little bit. I got all the top rings done, except for this one right here. I'm setting them at about 25/1000 gap. Once I get this done, then I get to do the second ring. I'm going to set it a little bit wider, probably 30, maybe even 35/1000. I did some reading on ring gap. I like to learn, fellas. Y'all know that. Anyway, I did some reading and researching on ring gap a month or 2 ago. And there was a feller on YouTube, I believe it was it a guy from Hastings talking to a engine builder. And he said he likes his second ring gap to be wider than the top ring due to keeping the top ring from fluttering. He said he's experimented and he's opened the second ring gap up 1/8 of an inch, which is 125. We're doing 0.025 on the top ring. I'll probably do 30 or so, maybe 35 on the second one. But I thought that was pretty interesting that he said he's opened them up huge, didn't lose any power. You don't gain power by opening the second gap up. It just keeps you from losing power from the rings fluttering. Anyway, let me get this over here and check it, see where we're at. Put this feller in here. These are plasma moly rings, by the way. Got to get you a piston and push it down about 1 inch or so, make sure it's square. Like that right there. What do we got? This is 25. We ain't there. Let's see about where we're at then. Here's a 18. Yeah, we're definitely 18. What about 20? Come on, man. No, we're not at 20. So let me file on it a little bit more. I'll be right back. What do we have now? There's 20. We're definitely 20. What about a 22 right here? Definitely a 22. What about 24? Yep. Well, we may be there. I'm setting them to 25. Let me find it. There's 25. Definitely 25. I think I went a little too much, but it ain't. It don't matter. I'm telling you, fellas. You might have a wee bit more blow by, but not enough to tell. It's not a 28, so I didn't go way big, but it's definitely 25. All right, let me start on the second rings. All rings are gapped. I'm now installing the rings onto the pistons. This is the last one here. Getting the oil ring on firstly. You put your spacer in, or whatever that's called, first, and then your bottom rail spirals around just like that right there. You got to gap them. It says, I done put that on wrong, where your spacer separates. You want your top and bottom rail gap about 1 inch or so away from it. Don't know why, that's just what they say in the instructions. So That's what I usually do. Put your top one on approximately right there. Spiral it around. And let me get the other rings. Top and second ring. Look here what I got. I forgot I had these. They were over at Mama's in the basement. They're marine pliers. You spread them apart. Slip a little feller on there. You're less likely to break one if you use this here. Grab the top ring. That second ring has top wrote on it, so that means that's the top of the ring. It faces the top. This top ring has no marking, so that means it can go either way. And there you have it, fellers. All the rings are installed. I usually put a second gap, first gap, about like that, somewhere in there. They move around anyway, so I don't think it really matters, to be honest with you, but something about like that. I got a lot done today. It's just not a lot of videoing. There's a lot of knick-knack bullcrap behind the scenes stuff that you have to do. Building a motor, it ain't worth showing it. It's too boring. I just try to show you all the highlights of it. Anyway, tomorrow, I believe we can get the motor built and possibly sitting in the truck. Probably not running, but at least, you know, get it sat down in the truck. That's the goal. Maybe a lofty goal, but that's what I'm shooting for. So I'll see y'all tomorrow. 'Tis motor assembly day. Oh yeah, fellas, this is what I've been working for several days now. We are finally here, but I ain't gonna show it. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna go into detail. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna time lapse it and let's get her out of the way. So we can go ahead and get it in the truck, get that truck on the road, start doing some smoky burnouts. Oh yeah, let us get busy. There's you a whole day's work, an entire motor build in approximately 3 to 5 minutes. It sure would be nice if you could build it that quick in real life, but yeah, it don't quite work out that way, no sir. It takes 2 to 3 days to put a motor together. You know, cleaning and yeah, from scratch, checking all the stuff. Quite a bit that goes into putting the motor together. We got her done though. I don't have any extra parts laying around that I can see. Lots of tools everywhere. I don't see no extra bolts and stuff over there. So I think we got everything in there it's supposed to be. I'm not going to put the carb on right now because we're going to fix the threads. That way we don't have to have a lock nut, have it come loose and fall in the motor again. No sir, we ain't doing that ever again. I believe we're going to cut her off right here though. Video's going to be a little bit short to this week. It'll be all right. Last week's video more than made up for it. I'm not sure if we're going to work on this next week or not. I ain't made up my mind. Probably because I want it out of the shop. You know, it's in the way. There's some stuff I want to do to the truck. Like I want to put, I got a wideband 02 I want to hook up. What else was it? It was something, I forgot now. Oh, the distributor gear. If y'all will recall, let me get over here and get it. I don't know, a year or two ago, it may have been on this truck here. I bought a gear that's supposed to be melanized, but it's just a wee bit smaller than the shaft on the regular HEI distributor. It's meant for something like my truck, the 4-wheel drive, the TBIs, the small cap electronic ignition computer control stuff. And I tried to bore it out to make it fit the shaft, and something went awry. And, I mean, I got it too big. It wouldn't fit. Well, I'm going to try it again next week. The gear, I was looking at the cam. The cam looks fine. The gear is wearing on the distributor, which that's what you want. If one part's going to wear, you want it to be the distributor. It's a lot easier to change a distributor gear than it is a cam. Anyway, we'll try to get that gear bored out to fit that shaft. If not, it ain't no big deal. Here's something else I would love to do, but that's probably going to take a long time, and I doubt I would do it next week. I would like to make a 7.5 inch pulley for the crank so we can get the boosting up to 6 to 8 PSIs and give him some more horsepower. I want some more horsepower to do. Yep. Anyways, I'm not sure that we'll do that. That piece of aluminum ain't gonna be cheap. It'd probably be $100, $150 for the big chunk of aluminum. Anyway, that's something I'll think about. But like I said, I think we'll cut her off right here. So we'll be looking for all that next week. Anyways, appreciate y'all watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you don't mind, hit that like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. And until next time, go do something. Blur, blur.